Welcome back to the Mystic Frightcast. I'm your host, Zane DeYoung.
And I'm McKenna.
And we are a weekly podcast focusing on horror movies and other scary stories. Each week we take a movie and we talk about it, and we take a story and we talk about it. Sometimes 2 stories. Sometimes 3 or 4 or 5.
We get carried away sometimes.
Yeah. How are you?
Pretty good. Sleepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just about fell asleep right before we started recording this.
You did. It's true.
But now I have my tea. 'Tis caffeinated. I had some tortellini. And I am ready to rumble.
That's good.
How about you? How's it
I'm
going?
fine. It's going. It's fine.
It's going?
It's going. Same as always. It's finals week. I have my final due in a couple days.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
I mean, you're almost done.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'd rather not be done and not have a final.
You'd rather just, continuously do this forever and just never have to take a final?
Yeah. Yeah. Or I'd just give me, like 2 more days. Or a day more. But, c'est la vie. Such is life.
Yes.
What can we do?
Not much.
Not much.
No.
Yeah.
Any interesting news?
Not especially. Swamp Thing already got canceled.
Oh, did it really?
It's aired 2 episodes.
Yikes.
And apparently it's really good.
Oh, man.
And no one knows why they canceled it. But the assumption is that it's probably money and that probably the DC streaming service is going to shut down at some point. Which is too bad. But, whatever. I don't really care.
What can you do?
What can you do? Yeah, apparently Swamp Thing's good, so maybe I'll give that a watch at some point if I feel so inclined.
So are they finishing out the whole season?
I would think so, because I think it's all filmed.
It's all filmed.
Yeah.
So it's just not getting renewed.
It's not getting a season 2.
Got it. Well,
Um,
sometimes the shows that just have one season are the best.
Very rarely.
Cough, Firefly, cough.
Yeah. I'm so over Firefly, though. Because everyone, it's too mainstream, man.
Oh, no.
Everyone's like, Firefly was so good.
It was, though.
It was fine. It was a good, I don't know. It was good.
I watched it 5 times. I haven't seen the movie, though.
You've never seen Serenity?
I've not seen Serenity.
Oh, huh. Interesting.
I've only watched the TV show, but I've watched it start to finish 5 times.
Huh.
So,
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's fine.
Do what you will with that information.
Yeah. I think there are better shows out there. Maybe not better science fiction shows, but I also don't watch any science fiction shows.
That's fair.
I
don't really watch science fiction shows, but I do like science fiction movies.
You hate science fiction movies. You only like Star Wars and Star Trek. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Anytime I try to get you to watch a science fiction movie, you're like, I don't like space.
I don't like space. But science fiction is not just space.
No. I guess, it can be aliens and shit. But we also don't really like that stuff. Name one science fiction movie that you like that's not Star Wars or Star Trek.
Stardust.
That's a fantasy movie. It's not science fiction.
Chicken Little. He gets abducted by aliens. It counts.
I mean, I guess technically, I can't argue that isn't a science fiction movie. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Maybe I do watch more science fiction shows.
Name one science fiction show besides Firefly that you've watched.
Does a show on the Sci-Fi Channel count?
Is it a science fiction show?
It's about makeup.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. And look, it's fine, I guess. We all have our things, our likes and dislikes.
Yeah. I guess sometimes, like, fantasy and sci-fi kind of, like, are a blurred line in my head.
Fantasy is magic, and science fiction is, like, technology and aliens and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Jurassic Park is kind of science fiction.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like DNA shit.
Yeah.
Messing with your DNA.
Yeah.
Well, messing with dinosaurs' DNA, but
DNA nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu.
Is that science fiction?
Yeah, they mess with the DNA of the Pikachu or the Pokemon.
But Pokemon aren't real. I don't know if they're like
aliens aren't real.
I don't think you totally understand what science fiction is. I guess it might be, but it's like I don't know if that's fantasy or science fiction.
They're altering the DNA and the genetic makeup of Pokemon for evil purposes.
Right.
That sounds like science fiction to me.
Well, no, because it's not about, like, plot. It's more about, like, setting. And Pokemon is just an entirely, like... I think they're not aliens, are they? They're, like, of the Earth.
Yeah, they're creatures, but the Mewtwo is, like, a genetically modified Pokemon.
But, like, if there was a movie that was about, like, a genetically altered, like, Wendigo, which is also a fictional thing... Would you consider that science fiction?
Yes.
I don't know if I agree. I don't know if Detective Pikachu is science fiction or not. Kinda, I guess.
I think it is. I'm gonna count it. Prove that I like some science fiction movies.
I just feel like that's a whole different thing. It's an action adventure and a comedy, McKenna. It's not a science fiction movie. No. I don't know. You know? I don't know if I would consider that. Because it's definitely not, like...
It's not a science fiction.
Well...
You just said you can't outrule Chicken Little as a science fiction.
Well, because it has aliens in it. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's ask the community. Do you consider Pokemon and Detective Pikachu to be science fiction or fantasy? I said asking the community?
The answer is yes.
I know. What do you think?
The answer is yes.
It might be. Yeah, I don't know. So we watched The Perfection this week.
We did.
The new Netflix movie.
Netflix.
From Richard Shepard and the girl from Girls. Allison Williams.
And Get Out.
Yeah. I know her first from Girls.
From Girls.
Yeah.
She's good. I like her a lot.
Yeah, she is good.
She's a good creepy person.
Yeah. Before we get to that, let's talk about some topics. Let's talk about some topics. Talk about some topics.
You tried.
What do you got?
Gave it a good effort.
What do you got today?
All right. Here we go. Oh, this is going to be difficult. I can't. Mm-hmm. We'll switch hands here. Okay. We're going to talk about some hallucination stories.
Okay.
So, I'm on Ranker.com.
Oh, God.
With a bunch of posts from Reddit of people describing some hallucinations they had. So I'm just going to read them verbatim.
Okay. How many do you have?
Well, there's a lot, and I'm just going to pick and choose the ones that I like.
Okay.
So probably
please do
3 or 4.
Okay, because I have to edit this, and I also have a massive paper I have to write. So please make this short.
Will do.
Do 3.
Okay. First one is called... so the reason I'm doing a hallucinations is because...
Spoiler alert. For the movie.
I guess it is kind of...
It is definitely a spoiler alert.
Yeah, that's true. Should I even... If someone takes and it's hallucinatory. It gives someone else hallucinations. Here we go. This first one is called A Dorm Neighbor Turns Into a Demon.
That just sounds like real life.
I know.
It doesn't sound like a hallucination.
Yeah. Okay. The first and last time I took shrooms, I took an entire 1/8. I'm guessing that's a lot. I know nothing about drugs.
I don't know. Yeah.
To me, I'm like, an 1/8 of what? Of an 1/8 of ounce? An 1/8 of shroom?
I don't know how.
Don't know how
much are measured in.
Don't get it. Anyway, if someone knows, please let us know. Took an entire 1/8. Everything was all hunky dory until until my dorm neighbor came into our dorm room and started talking about his crazy from the weekend before and how he wasn't sure if he was really alive or not. So this is someone else's crazy influencing someone else's current trip.
Yeah.
This sent me into a downward spiral of horrifying demonic trip, which climaxed when my dorm neighbor turned dark red. His beard began to elongate and horns began coming out of his head. Needless to say, I was horrified and we kicked him out of the room. I wasn't really able to recover during the trip, and once it wore off, I was in limbo for the next couple of months contemplating everything about reality.
That's funny.
The last part just kind of sounds like you all the time.
In limbo contemplating reality?
Yes.
Yeah, I honestly don't concern myself much with whether or not reality is real, because it's like, no one's ever going to know. Fuck off. Who cares? There are much bigger problems to think about
that's
than...
fair. We have to save the earth.
It's all simulation, dude. Elon Musk, bro. Who cares? You know, it doesn't matter. It's like people who debate whether or not free will exists, and it's like, come on. Like, there's no answer to that.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter that much. Anyway.
Number 2. Severed feet hanging from a truck trailer.
That also sounds like something that could just happen, depending on where you were.
Deep middle of nowhere south.
Eastern Washington.
Eastern Washington.
Come on, you know it's true.
Just go over the past, it'll happen anywhere.
Yeah.
When I was about 17 or so, my therapist thought I had manic depressive disorder due to the fact that my mother also had it, so she put me on ... I don't know, some kind of horse tranquilizer practically.
Okay.
Just some strong drugs.
Yeah.
I was being driven home from somewhere after taking the medications for a while, and there was a truck in front of us with little flappy bits around the wheels and the underside of the trailer from some fabric or something. I didn't realize they were fabric and thought they were severed human feet hanging from the bottom of the trailer. Needless to say, I was spooked. One of the scraps fell off and came straight for our car, and I screamed. Can you imagine if you just saw a foot flying towards you? I shouldn't be laughing. That's not funny.
I mean, it's not, but it's like any... Bad trip stories are pretty funny.
They are pretty funny. Okay. I don't want to do that one. Someone's like, someone actually has schizophrenia, and I'm like, it's not funny.
Yeah.
I'd much rather talk about someone who had a bad trip from drugs.
Yeah, much more amusing.
Okay, here we go. Food poisoning causes household items to talk and laugh.
Okay.
Here we go. Not long after I moved into one of my old flats, so we're not in the U.S. anymore.
No.
I went to make myself some munchies and found a can of chicken noodle soup in the cupboard. I warmed it up, ate it, and only then I thought, I don't remember buying that. I fished the tin out of the bin. Fished the tin out of the bin. And realized it was about 2 or 3 years out of date.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, I thought, an expired tin of soup can't hurt me. Next paragraph, just one word, Jesus H. Christ. After I had finished expelling everything in my body, the hallucinations started.
Oh, God.
Voices and laughter came from things, semi-transparent walls with dead people mouthing things at me from them. That was a weird sentence.
Huh.
Semi-transparent walls with dead people mouthing things at me from them.
That is it's Reddit. You know.
A ceiling that looked like that trippy sequence from 2001, A Space Odyssey. The lot. I don't know what the lot means, but...
It just means, like...
Well, no, I know what it means, but, like, I want to know what else happened.
I think it was probably just that stuff.
Okay, this lasted from about 7 or 8 o'clock at night until about 6 in the morning, when I finally fell into a fretful sleep in my sweat-soaked bed.
That's horrible.
It's really funny. I just love that things started talking to him, like household objects.
Yeah, I know.
He's had hallucinations because he ate some old soup. Should I do one more?
Sure, yeah, go for it.
Let's do one more. An army of Viking skeletons. Once, while I was sick with the cold as a kid, I hallucinated an army of Viking-like skeletons walking from a castle towards me, weapons dragging on the ground and skin falling off. It was creepy as shit. I was inside, but there was sky in the direction they were walking from, and it was dark green.
Huh.
Isn't that creepy?
It is creepy.
That's like the creepiest part of this.
That sounds like the dead people from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just started screaming, and my mother had to come soothe me and try to bring my temperature down.
Oh, God. Yeah, your brain does weird shit when it's overheated.
Right?
That's, like, I think where most of this stuff comes from.
It goes into, like overdrive.
Yeah, it does.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Hallucinations are so weird. Because we talked about it a little bit, what episode was that? We talked about doppelgangers. Did we talk about hallucinations as well? Well, a little bit, because there's this thing that I was talking about with the doppelgangers where, like, it's been, like, tested that if you're in a dark room and you're looking at something or at a mirror, mm-hmm. your brain will kind of replace, like, basically dead spots in your vision with things that you're currently looking at. Yeah. So, like, if you're looking at a mirror, looking at yourself in a mirror in a dark room, your brain will start taking pieces of, like, your face and, like, basically putting them in different spots to kind of fill the holes so that it doesn't have to look at everything at once. Right. What episode was that?
That was the Us episode.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, full circle.
How?
Well, Us and Get Out and the girl from Get Out in this movie.
I don't know if that's a circle. That's like there's a connection there for sure. But
listen, my connections are very loose.
Yeah. Oh, a couple of the doppelganger stories that you read turned up in the Disappearance of Devil's Rock, the Paul Tremblay book.
Oh, really?
I finished reading. Mm-hmm. I recognized them. I was like, oh.
They're good stories.
Yeah.
Doppelganger stories are so creepy.
Yeah. Part of that book involves...
There's actually a doppelganger hallucination.
Really?
Story that I could pull up. Yeah. Say what you're going to say.
No, I'm good.
No, say it! I'm sorry, my mind is all over the place.
It's okay.
What were you going to say?
Oh, just that there's a part of the book involves a thing called the Shadow Man, who's like maybe a projection of one of the characters. Hmm. Like when I finished reading the other one, Head Full of Ghosts, it was very late. And when you're reading a book about that involves a character called the Shadow Man, and it's like 3 a.m.
Not good.
It wasn't good. Yeah.
Not a good combo.
Yeah.
Especially in our haunted house.
Yeah, you'd also left this microphone plugged in, so it was like casting a red light on the wall.
I hate when the microphone doesn't get unplugged, and then there's like a red light, because you don't notice it because it's a small light, but when the room is completely dark, not a fun time. Not a fun time.
Yeah.
All right, one more bonus doppelganger, and then we'll move on. Duplicates of the same person, and one evaporates. After turning 21, I spent a 3-day weekend in Vegas. It turned out to be a little bit of a binger. Is that a word? Binger?
I mean, it's slang, but it's there.
I was thinking like bender and binge. It's a combo. A little bit of a binger. And I didn't end up sleeping for 72 hours. I lied down on the sofa and closed my eyes with 30 minutes left until checkout because I could feel my body shutting down. When I opened them 20 minutes later, I saw my friend sitting on the edge of a pull-out bed with his head in his hands. Then I noticed the same friend lying in a pull-out bed. I was staring at the same person in 2 places at once when the one sitting on the side of the bed evaporated. Can you imagine? Ugh! Doppelgangers are creepy. Okay.
Yeah, they are. It's true.
There was your fun bonus story.
Bonus story.
Bonus story.
Okay.
Your turn.
Well, I just wanted to go over some horror movie twists. Because this is a twisty movie.
Twist-a-turning.
So I wrote down a bunch of them.
Okay,
some of them are good and some of them are bad.
Awesome.
And we're just going to talk about them all.
Let's do it.
The first one, Sixth Sense. Bruce Willis is dead. Spoiler alert for all of these movies.
Yeah.
But that's literally the topic that I'm talking about, so if you couldn't piece that together.
Fun story about Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
You know this story well. But first time I was watching it, I was maybe like 15, 16. Mm-hmm. And like me, my dad, my brother, and my cousin were all watching it. And my dad was the only person who had seen it, so we were all like, me, my brother, my cousin, were all watching it for the first time. My mom comes down the stairs, she turns the corner, sees that we're watching this movie. She goes, "Oh, do you find out he's dead yet?" And we had not.
Yeah.
She completely ruined the movie.
I think the funny part about that is that it was just how she phrased it.
Yeah, I know.
If she had just been like, "Did you get to the twist yet?"
I know. But she was like, "Did you find out he's dead yet?" And she will never live it down.
No. Classic Rochelle.
I know. Yeah. She'll never live it down. We bring it up quite often.
Yeah.
Everyone has what we call a red gumball story in my family. And that's my mom's red gumball story.
We don't have to get into the OG
we don't have to OG
story.
red gumball. That's for another day.
Yeah. I think we should have some criteria for whether or not we deem these good or bad.
Okay.
So
what's the scaling
it's either what a great twist or what a piece of shist.
Awesome. I'd say great twist.
What a great twist for The Sixth Sense. But I also I have to knock it a little bit for like anytime the twist is that like it's in someone's head or that someone was dead the whole time. It's like such a cliche at this point.
I know. Well, it was like the OG, though.
It was, yeah. I mean, it wasn't, but it was kind of the first, like, big one. So, retroactively, kind of a piece of shit because of what it did.
Yes.
But, in the movie, what a great twist. Psycho. Norman is his mom. Not really. But he's the murderer.
I'd say great twist.
I think it's a great twist, too. Although...
The guy who plays Norman looks exactly like my ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, we should put up a picture of them both.
I don't know if we have permission to take a picture of my ex. But let's just say that this was either during or right after we had broken up. Like either while we were dating or right after we broke up. Mm-hmm. Again, hadn't seen Psycho. Was watching it with my family for the first time.
And your mom came down and was like, "Did you find out that the killer is Norman Bates yet?"
I mean, wouldn't put it past her. But no, my mom and I looked at each other as soon as we saw the guy, Norman, and we're like, does that not look exactly like, I don't know if I can say his name, but whatever. My ex-boyfriend. Enter name.
Yeah, you can say his first name if you want. You don't have to.
I feel weird about it. I doubt he's listening to this.
Yeah, I'm probably not.
But I don't know, in case anyone else I know is listening.
I mean, all you're saying is that he looked like Norman Bates.
That's fair. But anyway.
Okay.
My mom and I literally locked eyes. We're like,
That's funny.
And I showed a picture to Zane.
Yeah, they do look very similar.
They could be twins.
Yeah.
They're both tall and kind of scrawny and very slim face. Yeah.
There's this really creepy kid who, up until a couple days ago, used to work at Target. He got fired.
Ooh.
But he also looked a lot like Norman Bates. And
really?
I think that he was insane. So, yeah.
Did I ever meet him?
No.
Oh.
No. I would not have introduced you to him.
That's fair.
Anyway, yeah, good twist. I don't know if the twist is that Norman is the killer or that his mom is dead. Or both.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
It's a combo.
Yeah.
Although I think that I think the main twist is that his mom's dead.
Yeah, but in that movie, you're supposed to think that it's the mother killing people.
Yeah.
It is both.
Yeah, that's true.
But
it's a combo.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a horror movie, but still in a similar area. But Gone Girl I think is a great twist.
That is a good twist.
That she's a psycho.
Crazy.
Psycho crazy. That's a really good movie.
That is a really good movie.
Something they don't have much to say about. Other than, yeah, that's good. Old Boy, which you haven't seen. That, I think, it has the best twist in a movie ever.
Oh.
We need to watch it. It's so good. That, if anyone, no one's interested in getting into Korean cinema, but, like, everyone should watch Old Boy, and then if you like Old Boy, you should watch all the other Korean fucked up movies. But that's, like, the king. Okay. That's, like, the one.
Okay.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, man. I watched a video essay about why the American remake sucks and like why the original one is so good, and it was very interesting. The remake sucks. I didn't hate it when I watched it, but after that I was like, oh yeah. No, he's right. Okay, The Others.
Oh, I love that movie. That was another one
where they were dead, right? I haven't seen The Others in a really long time, but I think that was the twist. They were all dead. They were the ghosts.
I think so.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't seen it in a really long time, but I remember liking it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was...
Kidman.
They were the ghosts, and then the things that they thought were the ghosts were the living people.
Yes.
Yes! Mm-hmm. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah. That was actually a good twist.
Yeah, because it wasn't that they were... Like, it wasn't, like, just that they were dead. It was, like swapped.
Yeah,
and they didn't realize they were dead, and they thought that they were being haunted, but it was actually vice versa.
Yeah, and it makes it more of a tragedy than just like, haha, gotcha twist.
Exactly.
It's very like sad and tragic that she's dead. Shutter Island. It's all in his head.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good. That's one that very easily I think could be bad.
Yeah,
but it worked in the movie.
It worked really well.
Yeah. They all sell it quite well.
They do.
And I also think that it works just because of the ending when he, like, voluntarily gets the lobotomy.
Yep.
Because he can't, like, handle the fact that he killed his wife.
Ugh. It's so sad.
Yeah. Very sad. Another very tragic twist.
Yeah.
I feel like Shutter Island is a very underrated movie.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. Saw. You haven't seen Saw.
I've not seen Saw.
The twist is that it doesn't matter because, like, I actually like the first one is good. Do you want to get a spoiler?
I don't care.
So the Saw opens with these two people who wake up in a room with a dead guy on the floor, and then it turns out that the dead guy on the floor was actually like Jigsaw, like the architect of everything. And so, like, you think that they're fucked, and then he just gets up and, like, walks out of the room. It's actually a really good twist. That's actually a very good movie. I haven't seen the other ones, but that one is very good. Very, like, not just, like, a gore fest movie, even though it, like, started that thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's much closer to, like Seven. I think it's kind of described as a combination of Seven and this movie Cube, which is basically just Saw, but they're in like a cube.
Sure.
Instead of a room. But yeah, that's a good twist. That's a good movie. So those were... I was trying to think of like the good ones, and then I just kind of like started writing down all of them that I could think of. But have you ever seen the movie Orphan?
I don't think so.
It's about this...
Is it the... No, okay, you continue.
It's about this couple who adopts a child who they think is evil, or the husband thinks is like evil, basically.
I might have. I have a very specific image in my head.
Yeah, and she's like in love with the husband.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But then, do you know what the twist is?
I don't remember it.
The twist is that she's like a dwarf, not a kid.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. That's objectively, I think, a bad twist.
Yes.
But kind of amazing at the same time.
Pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah.
LOL.
Yeah. Yeah, we should watch that.
Okay. I might have seen it.
Yeah.
Like, I have some very specific images in my head that I think are associated with that, but I'm also not entirely sure. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's one of those that, like either I saw the trailer a lot, or I watched the movie, and I'm not sure which one.
We're raising kids for the first time this weekend. I'm ready to adopt. Adopting an older child is not an easy decision.
Hey, it's her.
Yeah.
What'd you do at the party?
I never really seen the point of it. I guess I'm different.
There's nothing wrong with being different, you know. This is extraordinary. She's very mature for her age.
So many hints.
Is this your house?
It's your home, Jill. You're just in charge of Zane and Kenna.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
This is our new student. I'd like to make her feel very welcome today.
Oh, look. Go keep texting. She wants her outfit back.
Esther, what are you doing? Something's happening to cause Esther to feel this way. I think there's something wrong with Esther. We need to know what we're dealing with. Trouble does have a way of finding her. What kind of trouble?
Yeah, it looks bad. But also very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Movie trailers used to be very bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that now they just, like, they put too much of the movie in them usually.
Yeah.
Because you can usually, like, just tell the plot.
Yeah.
But that was just, like, just a bunch of stuff that
It was
they
just
threw
super,
in
it
there.
was really cringy.
It felt very long, too.
It did.
So that's Orphan. The Mist. Have you seen The Mist?
I have not.
That's a pretty rough twist.
Rough one.
Yeah. I mean, not in a. I mean, it's not in a way that it's bad. It's a brutal twist. Because the plot of The Mist is that there's this big, like, there's the mist, and it has a bunch of, like, monsters and stuff in it.
Yeah.
And then the only people who are, like, left at the end are the main guy and then a woman and her kid. And they're like, we can't escape. And then they find a gun that has 2 bullets, and the guy is like, we're gonna get, like, eaten by these monsters, so I'm just gonna like kill the woman and her kid to like save them from getting eaten. And then it ends with the military coming in and they like clear it all out.
Oh.
And he's just left having just murdered a woman and her kid.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's a rough one.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. The Village. Have you seen The Village?
Yes.
And that's another M. Night Shyamalan movie. That's a bad twist. It turns out
I don't remember what it is.
It turns out, because you think that they're in like it's like an olden times, and it's like kind of fantasy, but then it turns out that it's just a bunch of people who like bought a big piece of land and built their like society on the land.
Yeah.
Dumb twist. That really was the beginning of the end for good old M. Night. Because then he did like Lady in the Water and The Happening and The Last Airbender. It was not a...
yes.
That was where it all began.
Avatar.
And then a movie that I just watched that I know you haven't seen called Diabolique. I think is also a good twist. It's an old French movie. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's good. Because the plot is that these 2 women, wife, and then kills her husband with the help of her husband's mistress. And then she thinks that she's getting like haunted. But it turns out that it was the husband and the mistress. They were just like plotting to get rid of the wife.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Good movie. Really creepy stuff. The last scene in that movie is like pretty much, I feel like it's the original someone like walking down a dark hallway.
Oh, really?
It's really good. Yeah. And then you just like hear, she's walking down the hallway to get to her husband's office. Uh-huh. And like halfway down, you just hear his typewriter going.
Oh.
And then she gets in the room, and there's no one there, but like one of his gloves is on the typewriter. It's really creepy. It's a really, really
creepy.
good movie. Yeah. Okay. Those were the best and the worst horror movie twists I can think of.
All right.
The Perfection.
The Perfection.
What did you think?
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
It was. Yeah.
Didn't leave you hanging.
No.
I did think that they overdid the rewind thing.
Yeah, I think that if they did it that once...
The first time I was like, okay, I like this.
That was really good.
And then the second time I was like, oh, this again.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like figured that it would happen again, though.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way that this is like ended now.
Yeah.
I thought I did correctly predict the last twist. that
she was helping her.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for the movie, by the way, for the whole thing. We're just incapable of...
We are.
Yep.
Well, and listen, the plot of this movie is literally just, like, a bunch of different plot twists.
Yeah, there's, like, a twist every, like, 25 minutes.
Yeah. So it's like...
You can't really talk about it
without... You can't talk about it without it because you say anything and it's related to a twist in a different part of the movie.
Yes.
So, plot.
Yeah.
What happened?
There is a woman who used to be a prodigy of a really exclusive music school, and she has to quit because her mom was sick, and then her mom dies, like 20 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
And she tracks down the new prodigy who kind of, like, replaced her after she left.
Yeah.
And they play together, and then they sleep together, and they start going on a, like, trip into the kind of wilderness of China, and then the new prodigy gets sick and thinks that she's being infected with bugs. Mm-hmm. She cuts her arm off, and then...
which ruins her career.
Yeah. And then it, like, rewinds, and you find out that it was the Allison Williams character who, like, caused her to be sick and have the hallucinations.
Yeah, she gave her, like, some of her mom's old medicine.
Yeah. And then we flash forward to the new... What were their names? It was Charlotte
and Lizzie.
Lizzie is the new prodigy who cut her arm off, and Charlotte is Allison Williams.
Yeah.
Lizzie gets kicked out of the school because she can't play anymore. Mm-hmm. And then she goes and tracks down Charlotte, and then kidnaps her and brings her to the school. And then it turns out that Charlotte was doing it to, like, save Lizzie, because it turns out that it was a rape school.
Yep.
And she was also trying to, like get back at the school.
Yep.
And then
double whammy.
You think that they're gonna rape her and kill her.
Yep.
But then it turns out that Lizzie was, like, in on it, and then they kill everyone.
Yep.
Except for the headmaster, they just cut off all his arms and legs.
Yes. And they torture him as he tortured them.
And then they play a nice duet.
They do.
As two lovely one-armed ladies.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's wild.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I liked the first part of it better.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
I was, I think, more invested in the weird illness body horror stuff.
Yeah, I wanted more of that.
Yeah. And that scene when she's, like, in the bus and she's like, if I move, I'm gonna shit myself.
Yeah.
It's so, like, rough. You're like, oh, man.
It's so brutal.
Yeah.
You feel so bad.
Yeah, it's really, like, tense, too.
It is.
Yeah, they really do a good job of freaking you out with that scene.
Yeah.
And then when they get off the bus and, like, you see all the bugs crawling out of her. Yeah. And then Allison Williams just holds up the meat cleaver and she's like, you know what you have to do.
I know!
You're like, what the fuck is going on?
I know! Yeah. That was the best sequence.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Well,
because it's also, like, broken up into chapters.
Yeah, there are 4 chapters.
Yeah, and that was the second chapter, and it was definitely my favorite.
Yeah. I think that, like, they fell into the classic trap of, like, writing a mystery in which the mystery was always going to be better than the answer. Because, like, I feel like no matter what was going on, it was never going to be more interesting than trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And I think it got a little more predictable
towards the end.
After that, too.
It did, yeah. Pretty much, like, after that, once, Lizzie went back to the house to talk to the guy and his wife that, like, own the academy.
Yeah.
And was like, Charlotte's going crazy, like, blah, 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 blah. She made me chop my own hand off. Like, once it gets past that point and he, like, kicks her out, like, I feel like everything from there, you kind of can tell what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, it's it's not as much of a mystery. It's, like, heavily hinted.
Right. Yeah.
Because, like, the first half, you truly have no idea what's happening.
And you don't know where it's going, either.
Yeah.
Because I thought that it was just going to be, like, based off of the first chapter, I thought it was going to be kind of a Black Swan type, like, rivalry thing. And then all that crazy shit happens with the bugs, and you're like, where is this going to go?
Yeah.
And I liked that it was in an unfamiliar location, too.
Yes.
And that made it feel more like, oh, I wonder like where are they going to go next after this? Uh-huh. Yeah, and then they end up back in Boston.
Yeah, because you really like you have no clue.
Yeah,
like it's so crazy and wild, and like there's so much stuff happening, and they don't like really connect it to anything.
Right. They don't really give you any context.
No, there's like no context, which I think worked really well.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because it created more suspense. You didn't have any context for what was happening, so it was even more frightening.
Yes.
And then the second half, when they started like heavily hinting that like this guy was like abusing and raping all of his prodigies.
Yeah.
Then you're like, okay, I know where we're going.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as interesting anymore.
And that's also like not a particularly fresh idea.
No.
And I don't know. I don't know if the rape stuff really like holds up.
It felt a little thrown in there.
Yeah, kind of, but it's not as bad as other movies that I've seen.
No, definitely not.
Because that did kind of become what the movie was about.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like, we're going to throw this in to like, for shock value or as a kind of a cheap trick. Like that was clearly what the movie was actually about.
The entire time, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. You know, I don't
know if it worked as a twist.
I don't know.
I think it might have worked better if you had more context for that throughout the whole thing, because then it would have actually been even more like what's happening, because all of the stuff with the hallucinations and that would kind of detract you and you wouldn't understand the connection.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about like rape and sexual violence being like a plot point in movies in general, because I feel like it's in a lot.
It is.
It's a very like overused thing, and it's kind of like whenever we want to give the female lead of whatever a like hurdle to overcome, it's always that.
Yeah.
And I think that it's kind of like unnecessary, and like women have more complex motivations than just like being raped.
Yeah.
And I know that actual real life sexual violence is very prevalent.
Yes.
And that is unfortunately a very common experience for a lot of women. But to have that be the only thing in like every movie, it's like, okay, like there's more going on with people than just that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you think about it, that's always like, that's like how movies kind of explain away like women's behavior.
Yeah.
Is like, oh well, she was raped.
Yeah.
And I just
it gives a explanation to the whole like bitches be crazy thing.
Yeah.
Like it gives her an excuse to act out, because you're like, well, she had some deep trauma, which is, understandable.
Yeah.
I can't like say that someone wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because that kind of trauma truly does like control your life.
Yeah.
And how you behave and cope and the kind of person that you become.
Yeah.
Afterwards. It really is like a life-altering experience.
Yeah.
So I can't say that someone wouldn't do that, because also I can't like blame her for wanting to do that. But it is unfortunate that that seems to be the only motivation.
Yeah. I think that I wouldn't have minded it in this movie as much if it hadn't been in like 60 other movies that were probably worse than this one was.
Well, I think it worked in this, like you said, better than others.
Yeah. But I just, it's like, I don't know. It never really like lands quite right for me, I think. And I think the only movie that I've seen that like I felt worked pretty well was Don't Breathe.
Yeah.
Because I think that in a larger context was kind of about that.
Yeah.
And it was never like I don't know. Maybe there's just something about the revenge part of that.
Yeah.
That I'm always like, I just don't know if this really has legs. No pun intended for the guy who loses his leg. But because it's like I maybe because it doesn't really like do that justice to me, because like that's not how
people actually cope with this.
Right, that's not what that actually looks like.
Yeah.
Like no one goes on blood-filled revenge fantasies in real life. And I felt kind of the same way about watching like Django Unchained, which the last act is just Jamie Foxx like killing all the slave owners. Mm-hmm. And it's like, wouldn't that have been nice?
Yeah.
You know? But that's not
what happened.
That's not what happened. That's not what this looks like. So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of wonder if maybe if this movie didn't exist in the context of like life.
Yeah.
I might have liked it more. But I mean, this is true of anything, but I can't like divorce my own kind of like worldview and feelings about things from what I watch. Like, I think everyone is affected by their own life when they experience art. And it's just, if this existed in a vacuum, I think it would have been really good. But it's because, again, like I said, like I've seen so many other movies that use that as a twist or a plot point or a motivation. And like, I know what a complex and like harmful thing that is.
Yeah.
And like really how that manifests itself in people is just in like depression and anxiety and like PTSD.
Yeah.
And no one's just going on like, no one's killing anyone or chopping people's arms off.
As much as people may want to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It did make me think a lot about what's happening in the world right now.
Yes. Well, I think that was intentional.
That's what it was kind of more trying to do.
Yeah.
Mostly I was thinking about how with some of the new abortion laws, how like if she had, you know, for example, gotten pregnant from, you know, one of them and seeked an abortion, and she was in, you know, a state or something that didn't allow it, she could have gotten like death penalty, whereas she would have gotten like the same sentence for having an abortion as just killing him, and he would have gotten like no sentence for doing that to her.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
But like that's kind of like the thought process that I had about like, you know, kind of current world events.
It just reminded me more of the Hollywood shit.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what this was about.
I think so too.
Because this would have been written around that time and filmed around that time. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know where the line between like how do you really talk about sexual abuse and violence on film?
It's hard.
It is very, very hard. Because obviously you don't want to like not talk about it.
Well, yeah, it's similar as in like, you know, it's similar to like race relations in the sense of it's really hard to talk about in film, but it's also important to talk about in film.
Yeah.
And there's a very thin fine line that people can cross into that make it unsuccessful.
Yeah. I feel like there are more good movies about race relations than about sexual violence, though. I think that for the most part, we've kind of figured out how to, like, talk about that, which is just to let people who want to talk about it, and not, like, shoehorn it into stuff.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes sexual violence gets shoehorned into movies to, like, be like, look how empowering we are, and to kind of score, like, brownie points.
Yeah. I don't feel that way about this movie as much, though.
No.
It didn't feel shoehorned in.
No, because I think it was, again, like, it was clearly about that. But there's still part of me that's like, sometimes stuff like that feels disingenuous, where I'm just like, this seems like you're kind of just putting this in there to look good. To be like, look how progressive we are. We're like,
I didn't get that feeling as much.
I did a little bit. I think it
felt more to me, more wish fulfillment rather than that. Like, what victim of sexual violence and rape hasn't wanted to just, like, do the same to the person that did that to them? Like, who hasn't felt a little bit of, like, anger and resentment and, like, vengeance towards someone? Regardless if it's that or something else.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it felt a little bit like, you know, you get what's coming to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it felt more along that line, which can also be questionable, but it felt more along that line than anything else to me. Like, it felt a little bit more like, you know, what comes around goes around.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I definitely think that was the intent. I don't disagree with you at all about that. But I also, like, I don't know. I feel like there's something weird about Hollywood making a movie about how Hollywood people are, like, bad. Where it's like acknowledging the problem, but I have no like, it's not like that stuff has stopped happening.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, this movie was, like, directed by a man and produced by a man, and it had one writer who was a woman, but there were two writers who were men. And it's like don't pat yourself on the back too much.
It's a good point.
Because, like, I think the point of everything that's been happening in the entertainment industry over the past couple of years has been to, like, give voices to people who didn't have them before.
Yeah.
To, like, that kind of goes back to what the feminist movement is about.
Yeah.
At least, like, third wave feminism, which is about basically just letting everyone be and say who they want to be and what they want to say. And it doesn't have to be about, like, being, like, empowering, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. It's just about giving people the platform to, like, be genuine and be who they are, and not stamping that out or filtering that.
Yeah. It's just allowing people to be genuine.
Yeah. And
not having to live in, like, you know, societal jails.
Yeah, and not preventing groups of people from getting access to, like, making a movie or making music or all this stuff. Like, giving equal access and to everyone.
Yeah. Equal access and opportunity.
Yeah, but then you're like, you know, probably 75 to 95% of the people who worked on this movie and every movie are men. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why? Like, do we are we really making a movie about, like, female empowerment when, like, the whole fucking crew is
men?
Not that they shouldn't, but it's like, that's what the landscape is. That's what everything is. Yeah. So, like,
it does dilute their point.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Because, you know, obviously women are not the only people who are sexually abused. Yeah. You know, men can have that happen to them and feel that same way. Obviously. Yeah. And as we know, like, it wasn't just women in the industry either. You know, some men came out, which definitely is, I think, important to recognize. But when you're going to make a movie that is female led about women dealing with this, like, that's when you should have women voices. Yeah. If you're going to make a movie about, like, men dealing with something like that, which I think would be a great movie because it doesn't get talked about enough, you know, that would be a time for men to, you know, speak up. That's, like, that's their place. because it's related to them.
Yeah.
And in this sense, it wasn't exactly their place, and it dilutes their point, because if they're trying to stand up for, you know, equal opportunity without having to deal with shit like that, then it shouldn't have been mostly men.
Yeah.
Producing it.
Yeah. And it, you know, it is a little hypocritical on their part. And I think that, like, how I feel about it is more, it would be different if there were just as many movies coming out that were, like, more female-driven behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Like, there really shouldn't be any reason that these people shouldn't make this movie.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, and I don't really, like, I don't think that anyone's doing anything intentionally.
No.
Like, I think that everyone involved in this genuinely wanted to make this movie and make it a good movie. And
yes,
I think it is a good movie.
I think so too.
But I think the issue is that, like, there isn't a movie coming out tomorrow that has a crew of mostly women that's, like, gonna be on Netflix and gonna be as popular as this. So like, I have no problem with Richard Shepard making a movie about women dealing with sexual violence, but then, like, there need to be more movies, like, written and produced and edited and you know, made by women about whatever shit they want to say.
Yeah.
Like,
it's all about balance.
It is. It's about balance, and it's just about context. And that's what I mean when I feel like if this movie existed in a vacuum, I would like it a lot more.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's so many layers to this stuff, and it does make me enjoy this less, because I'm like, there's all this stuff that, like, is in my mind when I'm watching this.
Now that I think about it, it is a very, you know, kind of typical male perspective, because it's so violent and it's vengeful.
Yeah.
And that's a much more, like, stereotypical male reaction, is to have, like, a physical and oftentimes violent reaction to something like that.
Which is fine.
Yeah, which is totally fine.
Yeah, but it's the lack of other perspectives that makes this movie less enjoyable, I think, at least.
Yeah.
Because this is the same perspective on this issue that has been in, like, every movie like this.
Yeah, it's not a new idea.
Yeah. So I don't know. This ended up being a much broader discussion.
Yeah.
Than just reviewing the movie, but, like, I think that's important to like, talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think that's an important thing to consider when watching movies like this, and about sexual violence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And again, not that like, I don't know. I said pretty much everything that I have to say about that subject, but just, like, yeah, I don't know. Just more diversity is good. Like, more variety of things to enjoy, please.
Yeah.
Like, this was influenced by Park Chan-wook, who directed Oldboy and a bunch of very fucked up, twisty Korean movies. And I would love to see a female driven, and I don't even mean in front of the screen, but, like, behind the camera, a female driven revenge Park Chan-wook inspired movie.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome. But just, like, I really crave, I find myself the older I get and the more things that I watch and read and listen to, craving more variety.
Yeah.
Than we have. So, again, I don't fault this movie for not being, you know, you can't fault this movie for, like, not doing any of the things that we talked about, really, because it's not this movie's problem. And that's, like, that's a whole
general
paradigm shift that just needs to happen. But it, you know, again, it is something to think about and consider.
It is an example.
Yeah. Yeah.
But putting that all aside, as far as just kind of the movie as a movie,
mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I thought it was good.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I like, as we've mentioned before, like things that create a conversation. This definitely created a conversation.
Yeah, definitely. So, it is it's interesting if you watch Park Chan-wook movies, it is like the influence is definitely there. Very, very similar kind of tone and vibe. But I was watching it and I was like, there is something missing. It's like it's not quite what it's trying to be. And I don't think I can identify it. It's just it's something that guy has that he puts into his movies that just make them like, yeah, I don't know. It reminded me a lot. He made one English language movie called Stoker. And this reminded me a lot of Stoker. Because that also, I was like, there's something missing from this.
Interesting.
Yeah. Maybe it's just a cultural thing.
Yeah, it could be.
Because, like, yeah. Because Stoker was also written by an American writer.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's just a cultural, environmental thing that just, it feels...
It's being lost in that translation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Yeah. I did quite enjoy it. It was...
Yeah.
It was fun. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting.
Yeah.
'Twas not boring.
No. Very, very graphic violence in it.
Very graphic. I was shocked. I wasn't, from the trailer we had watched, like, there was, like, creepy bug stuff.
Yeah.
But it was much more gory and bloody than I expected.
Yeah. Even though, really, the only gory stuff is at the very end
but
when
it's
they're
like
fighting that
brutal.
guy. Yeah. Because you don't actually see her cut her hand off. They always cut away from it.
Yeah.
You see the hand, but you don't
see the
see
hand
the actual
and
act
you see her arm.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's probably why it was so impactful, too, at the end. Because they didn't show a lot of the, gore until the very end. And so, the punch was harder.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we didn't see any of that before. And
yeah.
all of a sudden, it was coming in hot.
He's just crawling across the floor with the meat cleaver in his collarbone.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
And then he slices her arm.
Yeah.
Ugh, rough.
It's good shit, man. I like something that goes for it.
Yeah.
This movie goes for it. It's good.
It does.
You gotta give points for that.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to say?
Acting was good.
Yeah, very, very, very good.
I love her.
She was really good.
She's so creepy.
She did a good job of playing someone who wasn't who they said they were.
Yes.
Which is, I think, a difficult thing to
very
communicate.
Deceiving.
Yeah, but she conveyed that really well.
She did,
because she seemed kind of like flat.
Yes.
In the first chapter and first couple chapters.
Yeah.
But she did a good job of giving you the sense that was intentional.
Yes.
That she was, like, withholding stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is very hard to do. So, good job. And great job for the woman who played Lizzie.
Lizzie, too.
I don't remember what her name is, but she's very good.
She was really good, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good stuff.
Good
overall.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to have to watch Old Boy soon.
All right, I'm down.
It's a once in a lifetime movie.
All right.
I don't want to hype it up too much, but it really is that.
That good?
It's so good. Yeah, it really is one of the greatest movies ever made.
All right, I'm down.
Okay. Alrighty.
All right.
That's what we got.
That's what we got for today. This week.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking about doing a Japanese horror movie. Maybe the series, too, of episodes.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Just branch out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
I found a lot more enjoyment in watching foreign movies. They're just...
Well, the foreign movies that we've done are good.
Yeah.
We've enjoyed quite a bit.
Yeah.
So.
Just take a trot around the globe.
Yes, let's.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. That's what we got.
That's it. That's all, folks.
Yep.
We're gonna get sued for that.
Why?
That's all, folks.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
From
what?
Who? From
is
who?
that? It's the Looney Tunes. That's all, folks.
Oh, I never watched Looney Tunes.
Well, if we get sued, it's on you.
Okay. Good luck. We don't have any money, so I don't know what you expect to get from that.
Yeah, we broke.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
We'll do something next week. I don't know what.
Stay tuned to find out because we don't know yet.
Yeah. Yeah, just if you want to go over to our social media stuff, it's just Mystic Frightcast at whatever platform you want. We're here for you.
And our website is mysticfrightcast.com, and you can email us at mysticfrightcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Give us some suggestions.
Yeah. Oh, I did a poll on Instagram.
Oh, yes.
About the movie Ma.
Uh-huh.
I asked the question, it was like, I just asked if people liked Ma or not, and most people said no.
Y'all agree.
Yeah. Specifically, I asked...
I voted no.
Yes, please, or no cheese. And most people voted no cheese.
Yes, I said no cheese.
I also said no cheese.
Oh. So 2 of those people are us.
I think it was like 88% no and 12% yes.
Okay.
It was pretty skewed towards no cheese.
Quite skewed.
Yeah. So, take that. Ha.
Take that, mainstream media.
Yeah.
You
The
suck.
failing New York Times. Okay.
All right.
Bye.